What is up, Rakeley Nation? Today we are going to be looking at a video on why group punishments for an individual's actions are important to your kids, to your athletes, athletic development. Make sure you subscribe and drop a comment as we go through here. Let's have a conversation about this content. Let's get it. So the first thing we have is, I guess these are individual punishments, but you have this college professor.
That's right. Go to timeout. On two crucial factors, does anybody? Nope. No chair. Just crisscross applesauce in the corner. Market. The key concern is, that's right, services in any area. And if you price too high,
So, in my experience, you see my comment over here. I think she tells you a lot about what they didn't go through in life. Um, I think kids are soft, but yeah, the coaches are too, or the parents, or whatever you have you. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is at both of my coaching stops, right? So when I go in somewhere, I always like we're here to be excellent, right? And I believe in everything that we do. Like if we go through layers, right? We have the top layer, which is we are in a sport. We are here to compete. We are here to win. We do not participate in sports to lose. We're here to win. Winning is what matters here. That's the only thing that matters. That's at the top layer, right? Now the layer beneath that is everything we are going to do is going to be geared towards creating winning scenarios. So we're not going to do anything that doesn't create winners. Okay, and now the next layer beneath that will be everything that we do to create winners so that we can win. So third level down, right? Everything we do is going to convert into life skills. If it can't convert into a life skill that allows us to practice winning habits, that allow us to go out and be winners in our sport, we're not going to do it. And then the base level is we are here to build champions for life. So everything that we do is going to be centered around a life skill that they need to develop. That's not just going to make them good, not going to make them great. It's going to make them superior and better than everybody else. And why superior and better than everybody else? Because we are here to win. So everything that we do to win is going to be catered to building winning habits. And now when we build these winning habits, we are going to be almost totalitarian in making sure that we do them correctly, right? And everything that we do here will correlate into helping us win. So you have these four levels. And if we do an action that can't get past the first level, we're not going to do it, right? If we do an action that gets past the first level where it's like, okay, this is a winning trait, but it doesn't help us build or create a winning system, we're not going to do it. It has to go all the way up. So if you guys don't know, this is called order of proofs, and this is something that I use regularly. I want to say it's more advanced, maybe physics, definitely math. I want to say physics. Sorry, guys. Those of you who don't know, whenever I'm behind the camera, for whatever reason, I start getting itchy, especially my nose. It's mystery. I'll be totally fine, and the moment the camera turns on, itch bot. So anyway, so when you see this, and that's why my comment says you can tell. Oh, cool. It does highlight. Oh man, my nose is so itchy, and I hurt my hand too, guys. So I can't even move my hand. It tells what they didn't go through life, which is structure. And the reason why I bring up those four things is it's something that all my kids have to agree on. They really don't have a choice. I take the choice away from them, but I let them think that they're agreeing to it, right? And I inform the parents like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. One of the things I always do is I tell the parents that if your kid gets in trouble, it wasn't a one-off. Like I'm never gonna punish a kid for doing something wrong the first time, unless it's like egregious, like diving in on top of somebody. But I was like, if your kid gets in trouble, we can have a meeting about it. But believe you me, he will have done it at least three times. Right now, whether or not I tell him about it or I don't, which I will usually, especially around time number 3 or 2, they'll have earned it, and we'll talk about that. But I just want you to know, like, I'm completely transparent, and one, it's like I love transparency because I'm a confrontational person, and I think it creates a challenge that, it's like, can they catch me slipping? Which, if I do, like, I want to know. I'm trying to be the best I can, not only for myself and my own ego, but for your kids. So if I'm messing up, I want to know. I want somebody to catch me. So I put it all out in the open so they know exactly what I'm doing and I can be held accountable by it. But anyway, I guess all that to say, like, that's what this is. Like, through all this, I've seen that kids want boundaries, almost like they're excited. It's crazy. Like, I remember being a kid, like, hating boundaries, but now it's like, when I say that, it's like you can tell what they didn't go through. It's like these kids have had no boundaries, or like hardcore, like real punishment boundaries, real humiliation boundaries, where when they finally have them, it's like exciting to them to like see if they can beat it, right? And by beat it, I mean like not get in trouble. So I truly believe everybody craves boundaries, right? And I forget what movie it is, but they talk about how like people want to be enslaved, right? Like and I'll tell you right now, like I'm a firm believer that ignorance is bliss. I don't need to know something, so government keep it from me on some things, But yeah, it was I really liked seeing that video. All right, I can feel another itch in my nose coming on, so forgive me. Okay, so this one, we run into another parent or another coach saying parents should not be.
Parents aren't going to like this for me at all. I just don't really think it's your job to motivate your child. Period. Like, and you really can't. You might be able.
She thought she ate right there with that pause. She thought she was going to get a reaction. I think dude might be on my side where he's like,
A little bit. It's like, are you motivating or are you pushing? Are you teaching them to always rely on mom and dad to come through and give them energy? Like to push them, to light a fire? It's like it becomes this deal where they're waiting on, well, my mom will do it for me. My dad will do it for me. And then it becomes my coach. It's my coach's job.
So I believe it is the coach's job. Okay. Now, since I'm a professional and I'm always right, this is what I really believe, right? So I remember I went to this conference, and I think if you probably follow me, I'm pretty anti-conference. I believe they're a waste of time, and you don't really get a lot of information that really helps you get a kid faster, which is the whole point of the sport. Like I said, there's levels to it, right? And I remember one of the coaches at this conference said, as a coach, you're probably going to spend more time with the athlete than the parent will, right? So they're like, count it out, right? So they wake up in the morning, maybe you got 30 minutes with the kid, then they go to school, right? They don't see the kid until after school if they're, which is 2, 3, 4 o'clock, if they're working, right? So then from there, they go to sports. So the parent, so we get them for, an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. And, the longer they stay in the sport, the more time you're going to get with the athlete. And then, they get home 7 o'clock, they got homework till 8, dinner. And then, they got time to, talk with their parents, right? So it's not a lot of time. And, he was saying like, this is a serious, I think some of y'all have seen me, like I take my time in coaching kids, like I take it as an honor and I take it very seriously. Like I look at it as you give me your kid, like you're entrusting me to, dive in front of that book. No, I'm not going to say that with the way America's going right now. But, to put my life on the line for their kid, I really believe that. And, but yeah, like I take my job very seriously in that regard. And I think that it is the parents or the coach's job, because we have that, I'm going to call it 1B investment in the kid, to show them these things. Because a lot of times like the parents are, they're trying to survive. I know this now as an adult, like life is hard, and you got 2 munchkins running around, like it can only be even harder. So a lot of times like they probably don't have time to sit back and be like, okay, like what are your needs for the sport? Like how am I psychologically molding you for this sport? And we are thinking about that. And I think that as a coach, it's our job, like, yeah, the parent's supposed to motivate them. Like everything starts externally, like get here, or you have this punishment, whatever, or like we're going to do this for a month. We agree to do it for a month. We agree to do it for a year. You're not allowed to quit until our deal is over. And I think as a coach, like we're supposed to tap into that. You know, I know people will say like you can't control your kids or motivate them. I completely disagree. You know, I think a coach's number one job is to be the inspiration. You know, you hear about these stories of these athletes and they're like favorite coach, and it's like this coach made me want to be this way. You know, I know my Coach Knight, like he made me want to get into coaching because of how he like brought me out my shell when I was 14 years old and made me be the man. Like, stop being scared. Like, speak about yourself well. Like, I remember he used to always joke with the whole team. He wasn't joking, but he'd be like, our smartest player and our most conditioned athlete is our freshman big man, which usually the big man is the least conditioned athlete. All the other big men were. And the smartest athlete's usually your point guard, right? Or a white kid on the team. And so it's like our freshman center who doesn't play is the smartest kid on our team. So he like really put a battery in my back and showed me like, hey, it's okay to like speak positively about yourself. And that's the type of thing that makes you want to go to basketball practice, right? And then you know, you're like, okay, like I love the competition part. You know, I think why you want to compete, I think that maybe comes from parents a little bit. But I do think it comes from a kid naturally. But if they're not being pushed to show up and be in the sport, which I think is the parent's job initially, my parents didn't let me quit. So it's not like they're having burnout. Like the kids want to quit. Anytime something gets hard or it gets unpleasant or they just don't want to do it because their friends are doing fun stuff while they're at practice or while I'm at practice, like you want to quit. And, you know, thank God my parents didn't let me. And, you know, eventually you fall in love with what you're doing in the process and being successful. And for me, the competitive side, like I don't really care about winning. I like breaking somebody's will over my leg. So I completely disagree with all this talk about how parents need to stay in their lane. Like, you don't get to tell a parent what to do with their kid. Like, I think this is so wrong.
Motivate me instead of me being in charge of my own motivation. And what I would want parents to know is like motivation is not a personality trait. Like it's truly something that happens in the brain, right? And again, as parents, I don't think it's about necessarily motivating or pushing and taking on that role, but influencing, right? And asking them really good questions, okay?
Still kind of disagree, although that's a very good point. She did recover right there with the influencing part, but that's still motivating, I think, in my place, like influencing. I still think it's the coach's job. It's still the coach's job. And I guess she did say she never said it wasn't or how to say this. She never said it wasn't that it was the parent's job and not the coach's job, but she did say it was not the coach's job and it's something that comes internally from the athlete. No. I think that motivation is definitely driven by the coach. I do. Like, their job is to figure out, like, hey, like, why are you here? Like, why you show up? Like, what's your why? Like, I never hear parents talk about, like, hey, your why is not strong enough. It's always the coach. So I think I totally disagree with her on that point. All right, this is a good one. So we finally arrive at group punishments. We're going to hear the whole thing.
No, Coach. Are you hearing what we say?
Yes, Coach.
So where else does it show up in your life where you just choose to just start moving before you've processed what you're doing? This is a consistent thing. Now twice we failed to start with the name. Now you're just standing up because it's comfortable. Where else does comfort affect other things in your life? Because until you're uncomfortable and you can choose to think outside the box, you're always going to be suffering the negative consequences of it. Start listening to what it is we say to do when we say to do it. Because there's other people around you that are being adversely impacted by the way in which you are showing up. Start thinking about it.
Yes, Coach.
Recover.
So I've actually been a part of this conversation. I think I said one time that the first time I had like in high school, I had that like a real fired up like speech about competing. It was kind of scary. This was also a really scary one because I remember it's like the first time you're really held accountable. And this is why I say I'm in the last one where it's the coach's job to build these features in the athlete. Like I remember the first time that I really got called out for like the way I was showing up. affecting the team. I don't remember what it was. It was definitely basketball related, but you realize that one, you can't play, right? You're not going to get in the game if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right? And your role makes the team function. Now, me, I was a big man, right? And I was a defensive player of the year in high school. You know, first team all district, average double-double. Austin American Statesman Athlete of the Year, whatever. You know how it goes down. But with the way we do things here at Rakeley. But I over-communicate, right? And even people will probably notice this who are in my Technique Solutions libraries. I over-communicate because I want you to know exactly what it is you need to do so we can be successful. Now, as a big man, I'm calling out everything. Screen left. You're on your own. Help us on the right. Help us on the left. Watch the backdoor cut, Eric. Sterling, force some baseline. I got you. Let him go. Like, let him drive in. I got him. Just calling out, like, basically telling them what to do. Like, I remember one time my friend JJ, he was like, stop telling us what to do. And it was like, I didn't respond, but it's just like, that's my job. Like, you guys don't, and here it is. You guys don't have eyes on the back of your head, but I see everything. Right. And if you know everything that you can't see, it helps you play better. Like when I say you're on your own, if you let him go in a certain direction, let's just say you let him go left, but I'm shaded to the right, he's going to go all the way to the hole, get a layup, get an and one because now I got to come over and probably foul him because now I'm moving. But he thought he had help. Right now, if I'm a freshman on the team and I'm not communicating, I'm going straight to the bench. Because the way I'm showing up, I'm not being prepared, and I know my role is to communicate, and I'm not doing what I was told to do, it adversely affects, it adversely affects everybody, and now we're losing games, and now everybody on the team is mad at me because I'm not doing my job, but everybody else is doing their job, right? So I truly believe, and especially in swimming, where it's viewed as an individual sport, like you need your teammates to show up, right? Like I was on a team where I was the fastest boy, and I basically had to like brainstorm creative ways. Like I remember the thing I would do is we'd do like a 300 or 400 or 200. 200s are my favorite because you got to really push yourself. But you know, you leave and then somebody behind you leaves 5 seconds later, right? And I would try and lap the person behind me. So that means that, you know, if they leave 5 seconds behind me, I need to beat them in their 150 yards. Right, so I need to swim 200 yards, and the time it takes them to swim 150 yards, and that's how I got better. Now imagine if I had actually people that were my level. You know, I was 5th in the country in the 100 free, 52 when I was 16, 52.34 in 2007. If I had other people that were that good, right? I remember I went to the Olympic Training Center for National Select Camp, and seeing how people who were slower than me in freestyle trained, right? And I learned at UT like how to do what they were, you know, doing back then. But it was like, oh, like I'm not even close to what I need to be doing, even though I'm already this fast, right? So imagine if I have that, how fast I would have been going over instead of 52. You see what I'm saying? So, but that doesn't happen without having teammates who showed me, no, this is what you need to be doing at this level as a 16-year-old Dax, right? So if nobody's handling their business, I don't get to see that I'm not handling my business. And that means you need teammates who are taking care of their business. You need to take care of your business because you're in the same situation relative to them. So I truly believe, you know, Eddie would always say it like this. He'd say, you think swimming is an individual sport, go train by yourself, right? So shout out to Eddie Reese, but I think it's an individual sport scored as a team, like Eddie would say. So let's jump into our next video. I really want to try and get through all of these. So, this is a fun one. So this may be the last one we do today, guys. So this is on talent.
He could play. That's what we're going with. We went on the balcony, and it was a camp day. We went on the balcony, and we sat out there for 5 minutes and watched these kids work. It was like 2 or 3 of them. And he knew exactly which one from them running the route, like one route, what he wanted. And he was just like, that's what I want. And I don't know about the other guy. He don't come out his break fast enough. And he went and seen the DB and did the same exact thing. Like some people have that eye. Like it's crazy. Like when I seen Coach Saban do it, I'm like, 5 minutes.
So identifying talent, guys. I think this is a super important thing for coaches. So with Rakely, we're all about talent maxing, right? Now, obviously, you're going to have that top 10%er who's just naturally good. They can do everything, right? Or they're extremely gifted in one race or one stroke or few strokes, right? Blue chip recruit. And then you're going to have athletes who are good at, let's just say an NCAA schedule, right? 3 races. You're going to have that next tier of athletes who can put together a schedule that just aren't elite, right? And then you're going to have, after this is where you got to, before we get to that, then you're going to have athletes who can maybe do 2 races of an NCAA schedule. So maybe they're a butterfly, 100 fly, 2 fly, right? Maybe they're a sprinter and they can just do only 50 free, and maybe they're a relay potential, 50 fly, 50 free. Maybe you can squeeze 100 free out of them, right? And then you're going to have your low talent group, which is maybe they can only swim 1 race, so 500 free, right? 200 fly, 400 IM, right? And I think as a coach, you need to be able to recognize these things. I always say even your own swimmers, project your swimmer at the next level, right? So if you have a tags group, right? So for you Texas guys, that's 13 and under, say 13, 14, right? AAA times and up. Okay, so they got AAA times. Do they have 1 AAA time? Do they have 400 IM AAA times, and then a 500 free, and then a mile? Do they have all that, and then a 50 free, right? So how do they project at the next level? Well, maybe they're a relay swimmer because they have a 50 free, but they're actually a middle distance or upper middle distance swimmer, right? Because if they had that front end speed, that means they probably have 200 speed on top of their 500 in their mile. If they can only do fly, well, do they have breaststroker needs? Do they not have breaststroker needs? Can they do a respectable breaststroke kick? Okay, if yes, okay, so we need to get their backstroke stronger over the next 3 years. Now we have an IMer, we have 100 fly, 200 IM, we have a 3-event score. So we just move somebody up from one talent group to the next talent group. So I truly believe, like, especially if you're trying to be one of those gold medal teams, which I think you should be. Why else are you doing this? The more successful your athletes are, the more effectively your feedback loop is to your athletes in building life skills, right? If they see like, hey, you did this and the team was able to achieve this way because of you, right? Like, yeah, our top swimmer got us in the gold club, but then we needed people to score points. And because you worked hard and showed up, we get this, and now we're going to be able to get this for our team and this for our team and this for our top group, which you're in, right? So, sorry guys, my nose is always itchy when I get in front of a camera. You gotta know your talent, right? Like, and I'm gonna give you the cheat code, right? If you have kids who aren't good at anything, you got to start looking for 1 stroke, 1 race that they can be good at. Usually, if it's usually going to be a short kid, underwater dolphin kicks, 100 fly or 100 back, right? Our best backstrokers at UT were 5'9" and 5'11". Right, get them on that squat machine, get them cranking them out, get their core stronger, get their dolphin kicks down. Okay, so now you got 1 race. Now they got relay potential too, because of their underwater dolphin kick potential. That'll get them recruited, and it'll get you some points in for gold medal stuff, right? If you have somebody who can't do anything but they can just train and go, that's somebody with either a high mental toughness or high endurance. So 400 IM, right? So which means you just need to get them good enough at all the strokes, right? They don't need to be elite, but they just need to be good enough to where they can get a return on their gift, which is their mental toughness and their endurance. Right now, if they're a good 400 IMer, that means they have a 200 IM potential, and then you just got to find the last event. So you pick the whichever one you want that you want to swim on that. Well, I guess the NCAA schedule has changed now with them trying to make it more viewer friendly. But if we're talking about the old NCAA schedule, 2 fly, 2 back, 2 breast is all on the same day in the mile. So you just got to pick the one you want. Or instead of 2 IM, you go 5 free because they don't have to get up and go for the 2 IM, right? So you got to identify your talent. You got to project it out. Like, are the moms, brothers, the uncles, Are they tall? Okay, so we're probably gonna have a tall athlete. Are the parents short? We're gonna have a short athlete. Like, you need to be doing the homework. And this is all just, it's extra time that yields benefits. Okay, like if you do this right, all of a sudden you have bronze medal team, silver medal team with a low number of athletes. Like, that's money to you as a coach from your board or your owner, whoever. So you got to learn how to identify your talent and then pick it and put it in positions to swim events, whether it's one event, 3 events, and then just project them at the next level, right? Project them as 15, 16-year-olds, project them into your national group, project them as a college recruit, and then just figure out like what they need to do and train it, both in the water and in the weight room. So that, let me see what we have left, because we're 25 minutes in. I don't want to go too long. Yeah, there's 2 really good ones, but that's it, guys. 25 minutes is enough. So thank you for hanging out with me, guys. You know, make sure you drop a comment. Let us know what you think about the content. Let us know what you think about coaches needing to start identifying their talent groups at all levels and projecting it. Key word, projecting it at the next level. You know, what do you think about group punishments? I think that they're great for building life skills, you know, and the people in the group get to be either negative, which pushes somebody, or positive, like, hey, you can do this. You know, I remember Ryan Lochte trying to motivate me in practice when I'm, you know, eating shit. You know, he's like, hey, you can do this, come on. You know, no group punishment, but that's where that comes from, right? Until it becomes an actual part of you as an athlete. We got the, should coaches or athletes or the child be responsible for being motivated? And obviously I believe it's the coach's responsibility to teach it. And then, of course, punishments. Kids crave structure. What do you think about these topics? Leave a comment. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe. It helps us beat the algorithm. We are trying to get everybody the best swimming knowledge in the world, and that can't happen if we can't beat the algorithm. Turn on that notification bell so you get notified whenever we drop a new video. Thanks for hanging. Peace.